Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon all. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for being present in such an interesting topic, as well as very useful. Simple concept, but I think it has big impact. Right. The webinar today is about urban farming. Why urban farming? Let me share with you the motivation for this webinar. The motivation is simple because the pandemic has opened up a Pandora box that expose the impact of pandemic on the urban poor. Compared to the rural poor, the urban poor is much more serious because they don't have land, they don't have vegetable farm and so on. So we believe that urban farming or smart farming, as Dr. Billy will describe to you, is one way of providing supply of food to the urban folks, particularly the urban poor, as well as nutritious food for them. Right? Let me give you some statistic based on a study done by UNICEF in 2020. KL flat dwellers, for example, their salary is about 1.6K for 5.8 family. Children 2.5, and what they have found out was that during pandemic, the expenditure on education reduced by 84%, rent 40%. Let's look at their dietary pattern. The expenditure on eggs increased by half, but less protein. Expenditure on rice increased by 40%. And look at this, the expenditure on Maggi mee, instant mee, has increased by 40%. Less protein and less fish, and fruits reduced by 40%. And UNICEF have noted that 1 in 5 of our children are stunted, and 1 in 10 are underweight, right? And stunted in Putrajaya is about 1 in 4. In Kelantan, 1 in 3. And in Terengganu is about 26%. So these are what we call the food insecurity and the impact on the human capital development. Yeah, if these people are in B category or B40 category, if we don't give them good food, that means in the future, 40% of our human capital will be stunted and underweight. So that's what it means. Yeah, see the importance of food insecurity as well as nutrition security to our population. Right, we are very lucky here to have 2 speakers who have achieved a lot in their life, right? One academician, a professor, and the other one, of course, most of you are very familiar with, is Dr. Billy, right? So they went through a separate path, but each one has achieved in their own right. Prof. Syukur, for example, he is a professor at the University Putra, Malaysia. He was the head of Department of Crop Sciences, and then he became the dean and later the dean of Agriculture Faculty for about close to 8 years. And he's the president of the Malaysian Plant Protection Society, president of International Society for Southeast Asian Agricultural Sciences, and then as well as international level, president of Asia Pacific of Wheat Science Society. So his exposure with regards to crops are quite vast, as well as years of experience. Of course, all of us lecturers, researchers have to do lots of publication, right? And Dr. Billy, some of you know him. I'm amazed at him, and all of you knows his story. So I was thinking just now, he was a victim of a bad karma, but now he has become a victor. From a victim to a victor, he has turned around his life. And the best part of it is Billy has utilized this concept of smart farming or urban farming for himself as well as for the community. So to us, to me, that is very commendable. And you know, he sits on a wheelchair. So imagine with a wheelchair, he's able to come up with vegetables for himself, for his family, and for his neighborhood and community at large. That is very noble indeed. So that's why I have invited all my students and my colleagues to listen to Billy as well as Francisco on the urban farming. on the urban farming. There are two concepts here, urban farming and the other one is community farming, or in literature, in US or in other countries, it is called community supported agriculture, right? Is a concept, right? So we have these two speakers who will be speaking, right? And the method of our discussion this afternoon is that I will allow the speakers to speak about 20 to 25 minutes, okay? Both of them, Prof. Shuko and then later Dr. Billy. Meanwhile, you guys can type in your questions, right? Wherever possible, I will try to answer it. If not, I will invite the speakers to respond to your question, right? So we have about quite ample time, 2:30 until, is it 4:45, Zaro?
4:15.
4:15, yeah, 4:15. So we have about 45 minutes for you guys to ask questions and so on. Please don't be shy to ask any question. Don't be shy of thinking that this is a stupid question I don't want to ask. The stupid question is the most hardest to answer, okay? So be prepared with your question. I will get our two speakers to reply. All right, so without further ado, I call upon Prof. Shuko to present your slides. Prof. Shuko.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my slide first. Yeah. Okay, can you see the slide, Datin?
Yes, I could. What about the others?
Right.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers that invite me to share my knowledge and a bit of experience on the topics that given to me. And of course, thank you, Datin, for the introduction. So my topics that I'm going to share today is post-pandemic urban farming for food security. This is about it's a bit general topic that maybe we can discuss together later on. Yeah? So okay, I should use a slideshow. Okay. Okay, this is the outline of my presentation. A bit on the introduction of food security, and then a bit on the pandemic issues in Malaysia, and then urban farming as an enabler to food security, a few subtopics in this title. And then I also will share some initiative in promoting urban farming at UPM level, and a bit on the challenges of implementing urban farming, and of course the conclusion. Yeah? Sorry. Okay. I think everyone in the audience know about the food security, but I just highlight here the food security exists when all people at all time have physical and social that access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meet their dietary needs and their preferences for an active and healthy life. This has been quoted by World Food Security Committee. So the FAO, or Food Agriculture Organization, has defined three important components of food security, which are availability, accessibility, and utilization. For availability, is involve production in terms of the processing. For the accessibility, in terms of transport, equitable distribution, marketing, affordability, purchasing power, and then for utilization, regard of nutritious food, food safety and quality, good health, and so on and so forth. So that is a bit on the introduction for food security. So if we look into the food security situation in the world, this is quite general in the world and also a bit on Asia. There are 380 million people who are hungry at this moment. And that's account 8% of the world population, or 1 of every 12 people alive. And there are about 70% of all malnourished children in the world live in Asia, because Asia is a big continent. So there are about 70% of them are under they have this problem, and 17% of female and 13% of male are underweight, where their BMI below 18.5. So they are very tiny. Yeah? Then in Malaysia, we also have some problem, as mentioned by Datin Fatimah. For this, reported by Rosida, 13.4% of adults in Malaysia had both reduced their size of meal and skipped main meal because of financial constraint. Maybe they only take Maggi mee, as mentioned by Prof. Fatimah, only take a lot of rice, and a bit of maybe ikan bilis or sardine, something like that, and less of nutritious food like meat and also vegetables. The Malaysian position in food security also not that good. We are ranked at the number 43 at this moment across 113 countries. We are second to Singapore in Asian, where Singapore are way above us. They are number 19. And our problem is because of the low self-sufficiency ratio of our main food items. For example, for vegetables, we only produce 46.6%, fruits only 77.5%, rice 70%, and even lower for beef 26%, and mutton 11%. And we import a lot of our food. And our import bill around 50 billion, where our export is only 31 billion, and we have deficit of 18.6 billion every year. So among the issues and challenges in food security, this is just an example of few of challenges. Demographic changes, the population increase, as we know that it's expected of 33% increase in world population from 7.6 billion in 2017 to 10 billion, around 10 billion in 2050, and around 700 million in Asian countries, and even in Malaysia we will expect to reach 40 million in 2050. So this will lead to increase in food demand. It is estimated about 70% of food will be demand will be increased. And another issues or challenges is urbanization. There will be more people live in the cities. About 65 to 70% of people will live in cities, and they will increase in terms of the number of B40 or urban poor. And of course, there are other things like changing in diet. We have a problem of land scarcity for agriculture and for agriculture output, and risk of income also will lead to the demand, increase in demand of food. So I'm going to discuss a bit on the pandemic issues in Malaysia. I think everyone know the chronology of the pandemic. We started to have first case of COVID-19 on the 24th January last year, 2020, and keep on increasing. And we have a first MCO, a movement control order, on 18th to 30th March, and was extended on the 14th April and 28th April. And then we have we reduced a bit in terms of the number of cases on June, July, August, but after that, in October, we have a third wave outbreak, especially from Sabah. And then after that, we start to have a MCO, TMCO, CMCO until now. That is the bit of the chronology of the pandemics. And what is the effect of the pandemic to our society, our economy? And it was reported by Department of Statistics that unemployment rate was increased to 3.9% in March 2020, which is the highest since 2010. And the working population as of March 2020 was 15.23 million. And out of this, about 2.81 million people were own account workers. They are actually having their own businesses, small businesses. And this group are exposed to the risk of unemployment and work losses and change income due to MCO and so on. Yeah. So, and another study by Merdeka Center, 5 to 8% of Malaysia population will fall into poverty. Yeah? There is about 1.5 to 2.4 million citizens, in addition to the 405,000 households that are living below the poverty line. Yeah? So, the most affected group are the B40 group, because they, which is about 50% of the B40 population live in urban area, and they have a food security issues, and they spend most of their income on food, about 40 to 60%, and they will face numerous challenges to health and also danger of undernutrition, because they will have very minimal in terms of the nutritious food. Mostly they will eat rice or bread with a minimum amount of vegetable or meat. Okay, with that, actually, there is a strategy that we could think about, whereby we can use urban farming strategies as an enabler to food security. So the definition of urban agriculture or urban farming is the practice of cultivating, processing, and distributing of food around peri-urban or town or city. Urban culture, in addition, can also involve animal husbandry, aquaculture, agroforestry, and horticulture. So, and it's often undertaken by urbanites on field plot in the peri-urban areas, as well as in home yard, hospital ground, school, and on vacant public land in the city. And we have this could improve our food security, food safety, to have a healthier environment and also community well-being. So we look at example of the use of urban farming strategies elsewhere in the world, in developing countries like Brazil, for example, or Africa. They use urban farming as a strategy to feed citizens and to fight chronic hunger. For example, in Brazil, they have the city that ended hunger. The Brazilian city of Belo Horizonte. And in Africa, the Kampala and Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, they have integrated urban farming in their planning strategies to increase food security. While in the developed countries, like in US, Canada, or even in China, in Japan, or even Singapore, the cities use urban farming to give citizens access to healthy and fresh food. This is reported by Morgan and Cockrell King. So the benefit of urban agriculture, it can be divided into three: the economic benefit, reduction in food bills, income supplement, opportunities for agriculture-related businesses, and then also in terms of social benefit, social integration, safety, social safety net, health consciousness, and also in environmental benefit to promote green technology, reduce carbon footprint and heat islands, and recycling of farm and domestic waste. That is actually a bit on the benefit of urban agriculture. So many benefited, so many benefits that can be found from urban agriculture or urban farming. So the framework of agriculture, urban agriculture or urban farming we have the activities from various groups or individuals, including high-tech farming. And then with the aim of to have food security, to have a good environment, good social, economic, and with the goal of sustainable agriculture that can lower our food bill, BOT is a barren of trade, and also green economy. That is our goal. And the diagram by Cox 2014, it shows that there are two aspects of benefit from urban agriculture. The first one is to improve access to food product, and the second to increase household income. So for the first one, it will have a higher total amount of food product available. This will increase calorie intakes and decrease hunger. And then the people will have direct access to more nutritious and diverse food, and lead to a higher intake of micronutrient and more balanced diet. And for increased household income, it will save income, less cash purchase of food product, and then can also generate income, suppress sale of trade for domestically grown foodstuff, and at the end, they will have more income that are available to spend on food product and prevent food crisis. So that is the diagram by Cox. So the categories of urban agriculture project and activities, as mentioned by Department of Agriculture, there are three: the individual, community program, as well as institutional program by companies, schools, institutional, and so on and so forth. So this is an example: community farming. They use a vacant land for economic scale for production. They utilize designated land space from authority or private sectors, and mainly they are part-timers or sometimes office workers, weekend farmers. Then urban youth and pensioners also involved, and of course housewife, where they can also do their urban farming activities in backyard, and they use waste to wealth strategies to use compost from kitchen waste or from anything, animal waste as well. So, and another aspect is high-tech smart farming. I think Dr. Bailey will go in detail of this because he has a lot of experience on this. So this can be done by company, individual. So, and a few, I think in Asia, we have a few companies that have embarked in these activities, the use of vertical indoor farming, what we call plant factory, because with this we have a very efficient in terms of space use. We can produce high value crops. Can use with the full control production system, use of precision of smart farming, use sensor, and this could lead to reduce food miles and reduce less water and nutrient in the process of the producing of the vegetable or fruits in this indoor farming. So I will share a bit on the several method type of urban farming that has been used at this moment. So the first one maybe is this is a bit of conventional way of farming in open or landed land or home yard. So this is very easy. I think everyone who has a landed house, they have some space, or even they have an area close to their area that can be maybe sometimes can get the space from local authority. And then they also can use planter box, pots, poly bags, bottle, container to produce their fruits and vegetables as well. So this is something, some innovation that they use to get an easy grown, easy way to grow their vegetables. And this is an example of planting vegetable or vegetable fruits like pumpkin, This is the walkway at the Faculty of Agriculture, UPM. So instead of using a metal deck or a zinc or something like that to protect from sun, but we use plant to grow plant to get some shading from sun, but at the same time we can harvest the produce. And then we also can use hydroponic or soilless culture or vertical farming. So this is, I think, is not new. It's been used by many, but we at UPM we also produce small units of vertical structure for producing vegetable like this. Of course, this is another type of hydroponic or vertical farming that can be adopted. And fertigation is also very famous or very popular because it's very easy to manage because the irrigation and also fertilization will be done at the same time using automatic system. And we also can produce both vegetable and fish together in the system what we call aquaponic. We have a tanks of fish here, and we can use the water from this, recycle it to be used by plant. And this is a deep water, and the other one is a nutrient film technique. So this is also some innovation that can be adopted. So this is an example of small unit of aquaponic that developed by Faculty of Agriculture. Okay, this is another example of urban agriculture activities. My friend Hadi Rasidi Rahmat, he produced his own cabbage, and this is quite interesting. It's stated there, sebelum PKP, PKP is MCO, and after you see the different with the unused land full of weeds. It's been transformed to a very nice vegetable garden. So this is urban farming that actually has been conducted in vacant land near to my place, actually, where the people there use the vacant land to grow banana, sweet corn, sugarcane, and so on and so forth. So, and this is my neighbor, Tuan Haji Hamzah and Hajah Hidayah. They are a pensioner, so they use their time to grow their own vegetables. So they are very happy with that. Not only can pluck their own vegetables, but they having their own good life. Doing what they are really interested in. So that is a little bit on the activities urban farming that can be adopted. There is an initiative done by Department of Agriculture as our government. This is a chronology of what we call not only urban farming, but this could be activities that can be done in rural areas as well. So we know that we have a program of Bumi Hijau and Pembangunan Keluarga Tani, Rancangan Buku Hijau 1974, campaign Bumi Hijau 206, and the DOA has set up a division called Urban Agriculture in 2010. That is a bit of the chronology or history of urban farming. And the formation of Urban Agriculture Division with the objective of to promote agricultural activities in the city in order to reduce the cost of living the urban community, and to add extra income for the urban community, and to promote awareness and interest in the importance of agriculture as a direct contributor to the reduction in the cost of living, especially for urban community, and to ensure quality and food safety of the country. So for the record, there are 38,000 participants in 1,700 locations. That's been reported by Noria, but Bernama in July 2020 has reported 124 or 125,000 participants involved in these activities in more than 5,000 locations. And in Klang Valley itself, recent report has shown that about 1,241 participants involved directly registered with DOA. But this number could be double, triple, or maybe 4 or 5 times higher, because there are many others that doing their own without register with DOA. Yeah? So if we calculate with this 1,241, that with 100, for example, with these activities, they produce their own crop, so they don't have to buy their vegetables with maybe amount 100 ringgit per month. It can easily to have saving for 124,000 ringgit per month, saving for food bill, from food bill. So the program under Penjana, the National Economic Recovery Plan, has allocated about 10 million for urban agriculture project. This is to target B4 groups, so for people that living in PPR, and is expected to benefit 800 communities, then attract about 12,000 new applicants. So for the community, they can get as much as 50,000 ringgit for the initiative. Okay, we move to what we do at UPM in promoting urban farming. So in 2012, we launched urban agriculture that has been launched by the Royal Highness Sultan of Selangor, UPM. And then we also have a few showcases and also exhibition as visited by the then Menteri Pendidikan, Tan Sri Mahyudin, now our Prime Minister, and also by Datuk Sri Khalid Nordin, the then Minister of Higher Education. So we promote to youth throughout the country of the urban agriculture project. And we also have our own rooftop farming at Chancery Building, UPM. This project headed by Dr. Putri Eda. So the staff of Chancery Building also get involved, and they get their own produce, vegetables they can take home. So the salads, chili, and all sort of ulang-ulang. And we also have what we call organic farm unit at Faculty of Agriculture, and with a certified organic farm by DOA. We invite outsiders to have experience, and we organize courses of organic farming at UPM. And another example, the Sulam program under Ministry of Higher Education at the KRT Perumahan Awam Sri Police, where Dr. Juju is a team leader. And this team also, they get about 50,000 ringgit from Penjana to embark on this program as well. And this is in Taman Pinggiran Putra, Sri Kembangan. UPM staff together with the community, we have a gotong royong there to come up with a project, urban agriculture project. And we get kids, young kids, to get involved in this program as well, so that we could inculcate them to like agriculture, to experience, grow their own vegetables. And also this is another example, Perumahan PKNS Sri Kembangan. So the combination of UPM, Adon Serdang, UCTC, and Faculty of Agriculture come up with this project, and very successful project that actually that involve the community in that area. So, and then at the end, the challenges of implementing urban agriculture in Malaysia, there are a few challenges in terms of the efficient adoption of policies. This could involve many agencies, DOA, local government, and a proper site determination for urban farming also need to be call this to be highlighted here. And then in terms of cost of investment, the challenge to educate the doers, the part-timers, urban poor. So, and then commitment of doers, because sometimes they have a time constraint. Continuous support by the local authorities also is very important. At the end, this is from Renaya Yagi 2018. Another key constraint of urban agriculture in Malaysia is because of working people, so difficult for them to get involved. Young families also busy with their children, time limit, space restriction, and also funding. And as conclusion, urban farming is seen as one of the ways to tackle food security among city dwellers, especially post-COVID-19 pandemic. They can save their money, can get more income, they can have fresh, nutritious food, good health, social integration there, a green environment, and green economy. And innovation and well-designed or user-friendly or other aid kit would facilitate urban agriculture practices, and the need to impart knowledge on planting techniques and crop management to build city dwellers confident to adopt urban agriculture also very important, and need to find suitable areas to practice urban farming. And last not least, the continuous support from local authorities is very, very important. So make sure that this program will be a successful one. With that, I thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you, Datin. I will hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Shuko, for a very broad overview, comprehensive overview of what urban farming is, the definition, the types of urban farming, the benefits and the costs of urban farming, the challenges, and what UPM has done, is doing, and UPM involvement in the various projects involving society and so on. Thank you so much, Prof. Shuko. Yeah. So based on this short, of course, I have to read further. Based on this short presentation, I have a strong conviction that there is a big prospect for urban farming in Malaysia, as observed by Prof. Shuko, but requires lots of support, training, and as well as extension for the urban dwellers to indulge in this urban farming. It's not rocket science, yeah, Prof. Shuko. With the right with the right technology and with the right commitment and good demands from the users themselves, and of course the push from the government to improve the livelihood, the nutrients, the nutrition security of the urban dwellers. I think the prospects there. Thank you so much again, Prof. Shuko. Right.
Thank you.
Let's move on to a very interesting story. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Billy was a victim of a bad accident. I'm so sorry, Dr. Billy, but he turned it around and became a victor for himself and for his community. And what he did is by channeling or adapting the smart farming into community farming. By doing that, not only he helped himself, but his fellow OKUs nationwide in Malaysia. And I was shocked to hear that there are 4.5 million OKUs in these countries, and only 16K, wasn't it, Billy, that are involved in certain occupation. That's a sad fact. And I think Dr. Billy will give his account of his life path with regard to smart farming, and I hope it will inspire to some of you young guys, young students, because under pandemic not many jobs, and I think maybe you can try your green hands into this technology. Who knows, you discover the gold or the precious things about fresh fruits and vegetables which you grow with your own hands. Dr. Billy and Samantha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. They share the screen. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I am really truly humbled to be invited to share my knowledge today among so many esteemed professors from the academic of Professor Malaysia. Thank you so very much, Professor Datin Paduka, Dr. Fatimah Muhammad Ashad, for moderating this virtual discussion. And Professor Dr. Abdul Shukur Joraimi for your insightful sharing earlier, which really truly reaffirmed PWD Smart Farmability that we are on the right track, feeding for health. As this pandemic has exposed, did not break the system, did not expose the system, did not break the system, but exposed the vulnerability of our food chain. And agriculture is no longer about farming, but we have a talk called it's about feeding for health. Yeah, and today I am here with my goddaughter, Samantha, a millennial, all right, and also a co-founder of PWD Smart Farmability. And we are a social enterprise approved by MAGIC. And recently, we are just a small startup, 15 months old, but we were accredited recently as a social enterprise. And we applied for a matching grant for these 15 months, driving this advocacy, and we are entitled to apply for matching grant. And we got good news to share that we got our matching grant approved, and we are scaling up our production. Yeah, and yeah, I was a private agriculture researcher together with my mentor, Dr. Fang Wei Chong, and for 2 decades, mainly dabbling with tissue culture as well, biotech, and then propagating timber species, and also widen the genetic-based material of oil palm. Not going to go to that. So I have a talk called to plant teak trees, 100,000 teak trees, a joint venture with PLAS along the highway under the 4th Prime Minister Tun Mahathir. And I have to plant 100,000 teak trees because ITTO put a claim on Malaysia International Tropical Timber Organization, as I said earlier. And we need to showcase that our highway is in the midst of a forest, that we could export our timber, that our timber is harvested sustainably. And to my shock, when we put a pH meter along the ROW, because as you know, the highway is constructed cut and fill, you know, and that ROW is for expansion of another lane. So it's a challenge to plant a tree, you know. So when I put a pH meter, it's only 3 pH 3. How to recondition the soil, how to bring back the eco biodiversity, you know, to grow teak trees now, you know. So within 6 months, we discover a very powerful microbes that fix the nitrogen in the air, you know, and we managed to bring back the biodiversity, and also the earthworm came back within 6 months. Yeah, and that was how I started being interested in sustainable agriculture through restoring soil health. Soil health is human health. Yeah, we need to fix our soil and hand over a better planet for the next generation. So, so this is our advocacy as well. So in 2009, my research team and I acquired a few plots of deserted oil palm land. As you know that 50% of a land mass is monocrop, rubber, cocoa, palm oil, you know. We got, no doubt we got a lot of land, but arable land for growing food, you know, we have to recondition the soil. And confident that we are able to restore the biodiversity in monocrop plantation. All right, the cassava you see on the left weigh about a 50 kilo per pair in this project. Yeah, and here with me is Inche Rahman Saleh, and in front of the palm oil tree you can see that we restore with ulam plant such as daun kado growing on the trunk. Yeah, we are proud to say that we have successfully restored biodiversity in a monocrop plantation, and we now have a total of 72 proof of concept, okay, on restoring the biodiversity of monocrop. Yeah, this is in 2009 as well. I dabbled with when the whole world were having this concept of vertical farming, okay, and I look at Malaysia, we are such fortunate, we got sunlight, we got rain, you know. We should not go into a building using LED, you know. We have those are all input costs, So just to grow veggie, we need to reduce whatever input costs, not to drive GDP at the expense of the environment, And yeah, we can grow and drive GDP, but who is paying for the environment damages, and at the expense of the poor as well. All right, because the poor is inaccessible of nutritious food. So how to, and we garnered the Star Golden Heart Award for advocating environmental and human health through ethical farming and making safe, nutritious food accessible to all economic background. We will show many proof of concept to you all afterwards. Yeah, and this is a 7-story farm, 2-story subterranean with fish, 2-story above is chicken, and then above that you can see you can do hydroponic, aeroponic, and whatnot. Yeah, and on the right hand side you can see they're still thriving today. After my 5 years, I didn't have a chance to go back to this research center, and I recently went back with last year we brought Datuk Yakima, Director of Agriculture of EPU, to see our works in this. Okay, and then armed with my knowledge and experience in agriculture, and still discovering the phenomenon of science, I dedicate a portion of my income and free time to pursue my personal humanitarian project in Myanmar, starting with raising funds and digging 77 living water wells. Today we have 77, 22 are in government schools. During Aung San Suu Kyi time, I was the only foreigner allowed to buy 5 acres of land to show a proof of concept that I could elevate their homeless and poor villages. Okay, and we dig this well without electricity. And now, when Aung San Suu Kyi won during the last election, these 77 locations now have electricity. So we put in the pump and tell them that we can irrigate if we can buy land and start farming to elevate poverty to their poor. Okay, today, this paved the way for agriculture in these poor villages. Yeah, so I flew in these Myanmar people who are my commandos, and also working on my 5 acres into Malaysia. I brought them to the paddy field in Sekinchan, and the man in a white shirt is my good friend. He brought me to the water gateway, down to how they irrigate and made Sekinchan successful in paddy farming. So this is a man that constructs the whole irrigation. So I have a chance to expose my people how they can how they can improvise when they go back to Myanmar. So now from 5 acres, we after 5 years, we grew to 1,000 acres now. 1,000 acres. So the next generation will not be poor anymore, and they are doing 2 to 3 crops a year with paddy. So our paddy yield, we do yearly flood relief. We pick up children that their parents perish, and we started orphanages. Today, I have got 3 orphanages running there under a approved foundation called Myanmar Community Foundation. Yeah. However, 5 years ago, I met with a near fatal tragic accident that broke my spine, and I'm paralyzed now from waist down. I blinded my left eye. I broke 6 ribs, and in that 6 months, it is very difficult. And I wanted to exit from the earth because I couldn't manage the chronic pain, and my entire life was disrupted through this. But because of the love and care of so many people, I rise up from the ashes and I found back my passion in farming, and here we are today. Yeah, I was chosen as one of the most successful examples of OKU at the Selangor OKU Career Carnival 2018, and I'm also the National Icon representative and conference speaker of the National Symposium Rehabilitation Perspective in Spinal Cord Injury under the Ministry of Health. Yeah, so in 2018, I co-founded Aqua Hope in Semenyih, which is the Malaysia's largest R&D aquaponics farm in a 10,000 square feet greenhouse. It's Volkswagen showroom opposite, right? And we designed this vertical grow tower to grow 189 plants in 1 square meter. Okay, it is this material is HDPE. Yeah, it's a flat sheet, and we seal it with a powerful heat gun. Yeah, and through this farm, I learned many valuable insights in the area of soilless farming, employing people with disabilities, and how the middleman control the prices. So I thought to myself, I cannot be sitting on a wheelchair for 10 to 13 hours a day farming, and then hand it over to a middleman, and also farming for people who can afford to eat only. What about the poor? What about my own peers? So I pivot my approach that we have 4.8 million OKU in the country. I would love to represent and humanize OKU, that that I would like to see in the chart that not only B40, please put one more below B40 are all of us OKU. Yeah, I mean, you can hashtag no one left behind, you can hashtag zero reject policy, but our OKU community is always not mentioned. Yeah, below B40 is all of us. Yeah, because we only get JKM at 350 ringgit a month, which I also not entitled. All right. So then I founded PWD Smart Farmability, as you can see, in September 2019, and we have been here ever since, dabbling with both soil and soilless technology. And to summarize my experience today, I truly believe that soil health and regenerative agriculture, what we call carbon farming. Once people know carbon farming, because urban farming is so fragmented, and soilless farming agriculture, we got no strong policy on hydroponic. We still don't have a strict policy on aquaponic, because it's soilless farming. We're dealing with water. You know, even Selangor River get contaminated. So it's a kind of biological warfare. We are not careful with that. Yeah. So we don't want something to happen to a community. Then only we wake up on soilless farming. Yeah. And yeah, regenerative agriculture is a new term. It's the key to feeding people and saving our planet. Let me explain our terrarium. Because we OKU cannot, I got to pivot. We got to farm that OKU cannot do urban farming. All right. So I shrink down the greenhouse into smaller greenhouse and into a box. So this is a food grade box of a 60 liter, and it is about 200 overplanters inside here. So it is soil biology and soil enhancement. We educate the entire, we want to bring awareness of carbon farming. So if we have this box, is our own contribution to climate change. So this is an independent of climate change. This is a world first organic vegetable terrarium. Yeah, and we don't need fertilizer. You don't take fertilizer, go to the forest to fertilize the big tree, you know. So this is an entire soil biology that we balance the fungi, bacteria, and a good pH level. That it is a regenerative vegetable, meaning to say this box will sit in your home without you being a farmer, and it's self-watering. Okay, through condensation. You only water once or twice a week, depending on what vegetables that you have in this box. Today we have 3 varieties. We are scaling up to 6 varieties, including a herbal variety box. Yeah, herbal variety box like Daun Kaduk, Kesum, Raja, all these are very good. So we are not planting what the soy farmers are planting, because this is their cari makan. We don't disrupt their cari makan, what they are planting. So basically, we are bringing this long lost indigenous ulam, okay, back to our terrarium here. Yeah, as you can see, it is. Hang on, it is okay. It is for consumer benefits. You can see you have a box. This not you don't have to be a farmer. This box is for consumption only. So it is a talking piece at home, and your children will know that where your food come from. Okay, your food come from soil. All right, we are from the earth and we are going back to the earth. And there is amazing creation of the Almighty that the earth will heal us back if we know how to restore back the soil. Yeah, so it's unrefrigerated. So all the food we are consuming is from cold room to cold room to cold room, and we are we are calculating this box is a 0 mouse diet. All right, 0 mouse. You open, you harvest it fresh, and they regrow again. So we have 350 over box out there sitting in the homes of the rich and the poor, and including Ashley that in the north port of Klang, they couldn't even grow anything because it's a mangrove area. 34 families are eating out of this box today. And a lot of old age home have eaten out of this box for more than 6 months already. And this body need two things. We need a decent protein, which we have, we will show you afterwards. And also we need vitamins and minerals, trace minerals, which is an input cost. If you don't fix the soil, and if you fix the soil, you are bringing back the trace minerals back to your veggie. All right, and societal benefits, nutrition accessible to low-income people. We create meaningful jobs for the disabled, healthier people, stronger nations. Yeah, and earth benefits. We reduce carbon footprint, no pressure exhausting the land, no one-time use of plastic, and we use 90% less water than farming. Okay, this is your carbon. This is your own carbon sequestration box. All right. As you know that our planet gets hotter and hotter, we continue to add record-breaking amount of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. It's about 51 billion tons each year, to be precise. So agriculture accounts around 15% of global greenhouse emissions, which makes it one of the biggest emitters. How might we reduce the carbon that our food system emits? And how might farming help sequester atmospheric carbon into the soil? How we meet the needs of the people within the boundaries of the planet? Okay, once we understand that, we bring, then urban farming takes a different paradigm shift, all right? And then how might we change agriculture from a greenhouse emitter to an absorber? All right, so this box will bring that awareness. We're going to launch a label very soon called My Carbon Farm Label. Okay, this box, if you eat out of this box for 1 year, the university gave us a calculation, it is 2.34 kilograms per year per box. So based on the market fit of this terrarium box, the rich adopt to help me feed the poor, which we are embarking this program. There are 8 million urbanization, some say 12 million, all right? We are talking about 1% market fit of this box into the homes, which is 80,000 boxes. So 80,000 boxes times 2.34 kilograms per year, it is really a Nobel Prize already if we can do it. Yeah, so we sequester carbon back into the soil. Next. Okay, so this is where we are at, soil health awareness and restoration. For people to appreciate soil and work together to protect soil ecosystem, restoring soil carbon together as one human race. All right, and then we are also bringing food literacy, security, and sovereignty. The terrarium to serve as a talking piece at home to instill interest and skill in the science and ethics of growing food. So we are bringing this to an academic grassroots, adding value to education, and we discover the phenomenon of science. Yeah, and most importantly, this is an innovation by the disabled, and that's why we have to feed our own peers first, and we are building an inclusive society through sustainable model to lead by example in making nutritious food and meaningful jobs available to people of all abilities and background. So healthy soil will give you healthy plants. You know that the pest, the pest is an issue. So when the plant is healthy, when the soil is healthy and the pH is balanced, you have less pests. So and then you have healthy people, and we become a wealthy nation. So we don't want the poor to choke up the healthcare system. as we are facing a health pandemic. So the key is to how to raise the immune health in each of us to face this pandemic. And it's not academic. We need it actual proof of concept on the ground, people eating the veggie. And our impact partners are Sungai Buloh Hospital. They will give us the list of patients who are malnutrition. So we have a independent committee there that we can randomly choose the family, measure their nutritious health before and after we feed them, so that we have a data to counter the UNICEF report that our urban poor are mostly malnutrition. So we want to do something to that extent. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Samantha.
Yeah, but firstly, I'm not sure whether we have sufficient time or not, because we were given half an hour each. So maybe we'll just check with Professor Fatima on the time. If we still have a little bit of time, then I can touch and go on several of the slides. But then if not, then we'll just open to the floor for FAQ.
Yeah.
Because we have until 4:15, Samantha.
Okay.
Samantha, we have until 4:15, so you can have 10
Good.
minutes. Please.
Okay, then we go on this.
I will continue, yeah. Okay, so basically when you okay, I just want to show you guys the terrarium since we are here already. And then only before we get into the whole concept of everything. So you see the 3 boxes over here. These vegetables are regenerative inside each box. You cut, they will grow again, you cut, they'll grow again, and you cut, they'll grow again. Regenerative without any input of fertilizers. So we have 3 different varieties over here. The ones that you have seen are actually the Brazilian spinach, the Mexican mint, and also the red watercress. Why do we emphasize so much on soil health? Is because we truly believe that soil health is actually the key to solving climate change and also food security issues at the same time. So, okay, the first thing we need to understand is that the soil is alive, which is something a lot of people don't understand. When people talk about farming or gardening, their first impression is that, oh, I have to go and buy fertilizers, I have to go and buy this, buy that, buy a lot of things to put inside the soil to condition the soil. But that's actually not true, because if you look into the forest, you don't actually need to bring anything into the forest, and the trees can grow to huge sizes. You have slabs and slabs of huge, thick wood as your table, as your coffee table, as your dining table, whatsoever. So what is the logic that you don't input fertilizers inside and then your trees can still grow to this size? And why do we need to spend so much input cost on just growing vegetable? What is the logic? So remember earlier, Dr. Billy was saying that he brought the earthworm back through a very powerful microbe. That same microbe is actually in the box. The fun fact that a lot of people, we want to tell a lot of people, is that plants, with the help of nitrogen fixing bacteria, can grow from thin air. Because you see, we all know here that plants need nitrate to grow to size, right? And the urea is for it to turn green and whatever lah. But then so most of our fertilizer is actually nitrate fertilizer. We put the nitrate fertilizer inside the soil, but the plants only consume like 14% of the nitrate that you input into the soil, and then the rest of the fertilizer becomes causes the soil to change pH, fluctuate in acidity and salinity, and then causes the microbes inside to die. And that's why a lot of people say that, oh, agricultural land 10 years later you cannot use. That's not true. It's because of non-regenerative practices. That is why. So with the nitrogen fixers in the soil, they are microbes. They can convert the nitrogen in the air to become food for the plants. And that is the power of regenerative agriculture that we are trying to bring back from the forest back into this box, the phenomenon of science for children, and for children to learn about it, and for people with disabilities to eat from it, to benefit from it without even worrying about their disability, like the inability to go to the farm to harvest the vegetable or be a farmer themselves. All they need to do is just consume out from this box. So as I mentioned earlier, fertilizers kill the soil. This is widely accepted and it's an already known fact that fertilizers kill the soil. In fact, the top #1 most damaging industry to the planet is fertilizer. Second is fashion. So yeah, excess use of fertilizers would kill the microbes in the soil, causing and then it's like, what, I'm making sure that everything inside the soil dies, only your plants grow. So like not sustainable. And then when we say not sustainable, it's also the fact that you have to keep going to the supermarket or keep going to the supplier, wherever, to continue buying input costs to put inside the soil for you to grow the vegetables. But then with the nitrogen fixers, you don't have to, and that is why our terrarium, we guarantee 3 months, but we have so many people eating out of our terrarium for like 14 to 20 months, and it's regenerative. All they need to do is just add water and the overnight rice water, which has lactobacillus to awaken the microbes in the soil. And that itself is a proof of concept already, that you don't need continuous input costs to grow vegetables. And so why do we emphasize so much on regenerative agriculture is that, you see, because we are a humanitarian platform, so a lot of people have been thinking, because we work with a lot of corporations who run CSR programs, and they come and tell us that, hey guys, CSR is not as sustainable as people say, because, okay, let's say you have a chunk of money. Let's just say every month you have 15,000 ringgit, right? You have your CSR budget is 15,000 ringgit. So you have several options. One is you donate it to this orphanage. So you already know that this orphanage, 15,000 is just going to cover its 1 month's expenses, and then it's not sustainable. Second one, let's say you can have the option of sending your entire department of 40 people to go and clean the beach. Okay, then you send all of them to clean the beach. Then after that, the beach get dirty again. So what program is there out there that when you donate this sum of money, it regenerates and is self-sustaining for a long time? It's not like you put the money, it's not like you throw money into the ocean like that. And now with this terrarium, we actually give people the option and say that, hey, now with 15,000 ringgit, you can feed 100 families for at least 3 months guarantee that we will cradle. But we know that they confirm can eat out of this for like at least 1 year if they follow our SOP. And our SOP is very simple. Just water the box 1 to 2 times a week and put it under the full sun. That's it. And so many people have been enjoying the terrarium, regenerative, non-stop. So it's basically 150 ringgit to feed a family for a year, which is very sustainable, isn't it? Okay, so now this brings us back to the topic of hydroponics. So okay, hydroponics is a very debatable situation in the whole agriculture industry. There's this whole fiasco going on between whether you should go soil or soilless or not. For us, we are not swinging on both sides of the pendulum, but we are advocating on ethical farming. And by ethical farming, it means that there shouldn't be any agriculture runoff. So we know that in hydroponic, it uses AB solution. And okay, for example, if you want to do AB solution yourself, you can just go and Google how to make your own AB solution, and then it will just show you the whole recipe. And you know that all of these are synthetic and corrosive on its own. And also, if we understand plant macronutrients, you can see that all of this lacks micronutrients and trace minerals that are absolutely vital for the plant's growth and taste and texture, and also our human health, that are basically lost in our conventionally farmed produce already. In fact, the FAO has already said that the produce that we eat right now from the supermarket, conventionally farmed produce, are so much less nutritious than the same kind of produce farmed in the 1950s. And that is also all because of industrialization and capitalism, where they just need to reduce input costs and increase yield. But then the quality drop. Yeah, it looks nice and everything, but then the nutritious value is not there. You're basically eating water in different shapes and colors because it's mostly water. So yeah, the saying goes, you are what you eat, but we would beg to differ, because in fact you are what your food has been eating. Now we're just talking about only vegetables. So vegetables, you can either get them to farm commercially, hydroponics, or grown through healthy soil. We haven't even touched on the subject of livestock, right? So basically there's poison in our food chain. So this photo is actually taken with my phone at Dr. Billy's farm in Johor, the one that he restored the palm oil land. You can see that this plant is growing on a rock in the presence of a nitrogen fixing bacteria. We have actually shown these pictures to Yale and US that day when we were invited to speak to their class on planetary health. This is another picture where you can see it absolutely doesn't require fertilizer to grow. They just dip the cutting of the spinach in this nitrogen fixing bacteria, drill a hole in the cement, put it there, and then ta-da, it's growing very beautifully, no deficiency whatsoever, because the microbes are doing all the work, and these microbes are naturally found in the soil. You can see trees growing on the rocks, trees growing on the rocks. These are just very beautiful evidence that our plants can grow in thin air with the presence of a very wholesome biodiversity, and microbes are the foundation of all life. So over here, what we are trying to show you is that you see the Orang Asli people, their food mostly comes from foraging in the forest. So naturally, the food there is more nutritious because there is a more diverse profile of flora that they are harvesting as their food, and also it's not being farmed commercially, so they will have trace minerals, phytonutrients, and micronutrients that are found in all of these plants when they harvest outside. And then you see they are actually 80 and 60 years old, but they don't look like it. If it's our urban people 80 and 60 years old, I think they cannot even go inside and forage. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of concludes our whole idea of why we are advocating soil health and regenerative agriculture practices in urban farming. And we also understand that in urban farming is a very fragmented industry in Malaysia. There's a lot of opportunities for improvement, but most importantly is that small stakeholders, small farms like ourselves and the other community farms around, they play a very, very important role in restoring soil health, because when it comes to big commercial farms, those are going to take a lot of time for them to pivot from capital farming, from commercial farming to regenerative farming. But small farms are already doing that, and we are all doing our very important part to sequester carbon back and also farm healthy food for the people. So yeah, we have less than 60 years of farmable soil left in this world, although we have people in the internet forum debating that whether this is true or not. But essentially, we understand what the author of that line is trying to say. If let's say the economic crashes, let's just predict the worst case scenario, because we are already in kind of like one of the worst case scenario when the COVID-19 hit, right? What if in another scenario where the economy completely crashes and there's nothing for us to peg the value of our currency against? Are we still going to be keeping gold? Gold cannot grow your own food. What can grow food to feed yourself in this kind of worst case scenario is actually the healthy soil, that if you have no knowledge at all whatsoever, you plant anything in this healthy soil, it will regenerate food for you. So yeah, healthy soil is going to become a big scarcity, and it is all our duty to restore the soil back to its prime time last time. So yeah, this concludes our presentation. So thank you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam and Dr. Billy. Right, everyone. So you have listened a spectrum of review of the urban farming, from a broad one from Prof. Shukul and specific experience from Dr. Billy, and is quite technical. I guess to make this platform useful, we can't afford to, of course, the technical part is important, but can we just focus on the big issues? Basically, questions like how to increase urban farming, and what are the challenges and problems, and from your own perspective, your own experience, maybe you can kind of propose some policy options and so on, right? But maybe because I'm not on OKU, Dr. Billy, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize the, the depth of the problem. If I had known, I would have called the welfare department. I'm so sorry, Dr. Billy, maybe next time. So I'm in no position to kind of help you on certain policy matters, but I can just propose, here maybe in my participation in the government policy, I can just inject in the need to utilize or to mobilize to OKU their big potential with regards to vertical farming. Please accept my apology, Dr. Billy. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that it requires a welfare department here. Maybe next time, Dr. Billy. Right, guys. So focus on urban farming. How do we improve it? What are the challenges? What are the problems that you guys facing? And maybe the interaction among us, we can come up with some good suggestion. I can see quite senior people here, like Dr. GP Dora, and my former boss is here, Professor Latin Padaka Aini, she's here, and some of my friends. I'm sure you guys, and Tajuddin Ali, Tajuddin Ismail as well. I'm sorry, I don't remember some of you, don't recognize some of you, but I believe you guys can provide a good input. Right. So we have question here, Prof. Chuko. It's very technical. It's from Lin Tran. Yeah. So is there any specific ruling on environmental impact by the government or state or KL Selangor to ensure composting enzyme making doesn't create bad odor and affect the neighborhood, also attract complaints, especially if we use food waste to compost, right? One. And what's the best method or SOP to keep our urban farming clean? Okay. Is there any ruling on landscaping that is front yard unsightliness? Area Subang Jaya bans front gate plants and vegetables for unknown reason. 2. 3. Is there an organization through which we can access unused land? There's a big issue. Space in the urban area for farming or apply for grants for urban farming. This I think Dr. Billy can reply. Is there any ruling in Klang Valley for using residential land for urban residential land to convert unused land into agriculture? And what are the process? Right. You can look at the questions, Prof. Shukor, in the chat section. I think you are the best person to answer this. Right.
Okay, thank you, Datin.
Or Dr. Billy too, yeah.
Okay. Well, with regards of to have your urban farming activities in residential area, actually, we are actually so far no rules, no regulation that actually can be referred to as far as urban farming is concerned. But DOA or Department of Agriculture actually promoting and encourage people to do urban farming in their residential area. But in terms of the local authorities, they have their own rules and regulations, of course. As mentioned by one of the viewer with regard of the Subang Jaya problem, where the local authority actually remove the ports and also their urban farming structure from the back lane. That is actually, I think, we all know that back lane actually is an access area whereby is there any emergencies that the people need, or like our bombers or authorities to use that back lane for emergencies. So that's why I think that is something that we should avoid to use back lane for the urban farming. We can use other areas whereby it's not really obstruct any area that need to be used for others. So we can use our own backyard, not the back lane, but backyard or in front of our house or in our lawns, so that it will not actually hamper any other activities or any or for the authorities to use the areas and so on and so forth. Okay. So that's why we actually need to taking care in terms of the areas professionally, in terms of to keep up the area clean, make sure the weed is not there. I mean, usually I noticed that whenever you do urban farming, let's say in front of your gates, usually there is a contractor who do weeding or do cut the grass. But having your structure, having your pot there, they are unable to do that. But if we keep the area clean in terms of weed, we remove a weed, and then we ensure that there is no rubbish there as we grow our ornamental plants. So you keep it nicely, then I think it shouldn't be any problem. The
But
problem is
the
when
onus is on us, is it?
yes, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Usually the problem is when there is a neighbors that complain about it and they report to the authority, then you have a problem. So the report usually because of the bad condition of the activity that we have. Sometimes we do clean for a while, but after that then we leave it for a while, unkeep, untouched, then we will create a problem, mosquitoes, rat, and so on and so forth.
Dear.
Then
Okay.
you have a problem of complaint by your neighbors.
Number three, Fashiko, is there an organization through which we can access unused land?
Okay.
Or land bank or databases for land?
My experience, actually, we can use the toll land, a temporary land, actually, where we could apply from the local authority, or, for example, if you have a land, vacant land, surrounding the maybe TNB, cable line, or maybe that reserve for river, which is a big reserve. Maybe you can use part of it, but you have to apply from the Jabatan Parit dan Tali Air, all those, and then also if TNB, you have to write to them to request. So we see many people actually apply and use this kind of land. So they can get it, I think. So you can actually, or you should apply to the the agencies that related to that land, actually.
Is it fast?
Well, as what we know, that usually people will just use it for a while and then they apply, and they will come and visit and check if that area the people keep it clean and do it nicely. Then I think shouldn't be any problem. They will give.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
And is there any ruling in Klang Valley for using residential land for urban farming? Did we get approval? Oh, you have answered this, right? You have answered this question. Okay.
Let me add, Prof.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. We were invited by MPC. This morning was the third meeting. They also need our view on urban farming. They are going to come out with a DASAR, all right, DASAR for urban farming. So this morning was our third meeting. We shared our views to MPC. In the meeting also with DOA and who else? KPKT,
the local council, local council.
All the agencies are there. Yeah, we contributed our views to them to come up with the DASA soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. I was about to say that by after looking at the questions and the answer from Prof. Shuko, we can see that we need a guidelines to the producers and to the community on not a very strict SOP, but some broad guidelines for them to adhere to. Like, for example, cleanliness and to minimize order and not to disrupt public facilities. So you need those guidelines for them to take care of the whatever areas that they are working on. And I can see many institutions are involved, agencies, DOA is one part. And then the local council, I'm not sure whether they are speaking to each other or not, right? And then if you are using land under TNB or JPT, is it? Jabatan Parit dan Tali Air. So you will have bureaucratic problems there. So it's still, I can see that it's still the early stage where we need to coordinate the various agencies. And as Billy and I have thought about it, the need for policy guidelines to the users as well as whoever involved in this project. Right. Okay, let me see what other question there. Okay, good question for you from June. May I know where to get the terrarium beige box? Please contact Billy. I always thought that terrarium are made from glass, but I noticed that yours is plastic. what kind of vegetables? Yeah, you can contact Billy about that. Go to his Facebook. One guy, FP Lee, also interested in the terrarium. And somebody was asking about the cost and practicality of glass container rather than prohibitive, or would be. Not sure what it means. Is it patented, Billy? Your glass?
No, that's why our being a startup, we try to garner a prestigious award, and also being adopted by, we were adopted by DPIM. We were adopted by many Rotary clubs. They have applied for district grant, and we already grow the box and dispersed to the malnutrition family, and they all have been eating out of this box. Even our rehab physician, Dr. Akmal, head of rehab physician, Dr. Akmal, has been eating the box now. This month will be her 14th month. Yeah, so these are the proof of concept. And if I may add one more, since Professor Dr. GP Doraisamy is there, he is our senior advisor, legal advisor of PWD Smart Farmability. He is also the Secretary General of World Humanitarian Drive. And I think next month, Professor Dr. GP Doraisamy is bringing PWD to a global platform under WHD. Yeah, so PWD will be acknowledged and have a presence in London. All right, and we will be doing Feeding Without Borders with WHD London. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Dr. Billy.
Yeah, Dato, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I've been enjoying the presentation by Prof. Abdul Shukar, and also from Dr. Billy and Samantha. Apparently, I'm having one of those terrarium box, and I'm using one of that organic vegetables in my family. It's a very fantastic idea. I would say this is one of the world's first invention by Dr. Billy and Samantha under PWD Smart Farmability Enterprise. Well, as what Dr. Billy has mentioned earlier, I'm in talk with the World Humanitarian Drive based in London, UK, and they have consented for a MOA, Memorandum of Agreement, with WHD Malaysia, wherein I'm the Secretary General for WHD Malaysia chapter, and I'm bringing in PWD Smart Farmability to do this MOA together with WHD London. We have about more than 15 chapters, WHD World Humanitarian Drive chapters around the world. So we are going to promote this organic terrarium box, for that matter, under Dr. Billy to the whole world, which means that it is going to be based in London, and the MOA will take place in by mid-April. We'll be signing the MOA with London, and with that we'll be promoting this organic farming terrarium box to the whole world, which means PWD Smart Farmability will be one of the most unique urban farming system in the world, coming from Malaysia, that is coming from Dr. Billy Tang and Samantha Mok. It's already on the way, and so I'm working very closely with Dr. Billy and Samantha on this project, and hopefully with God's grace, this MOA will take place in mid-April, and we are going to see Dr. Billy and Samantha on top of the world for many more world awards waiting for them at the top of the world. And I know that this terrarium box is one of those very unique invention by PWD Smart Farmability.
Okay.
That, thank you so much, Prof. Fatima. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes, who is that? Who is that, please? Anybody, any question there? Rashiko, there is a, sorry, there is a guy here, Mr. Lee Wenchia, is asking about the cost setting up hydroponic and fertigation. And of course, he's interested in courses at UPM, whether we have any courses to conduct for people to learn hydroponic and fertigation. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, the cost of hydroponic and fertigation system is depend on how big the units. So for small unit for hydroponic system, actually cost between 2 to 400 ringgits only, the small one, and can be used in your very small flat areas where there is a light that can penetrate through the area. And fertigation also the same, they only use a small pump. If your area is quite small, it's not that expensive. And in terms of costs that can be conducted at UPM, yes, we do have. We usually announce our courses in our website. So in terms of fertigation or organic farming, or any other related courses, pest management, soil management, pesticide, so many courses that we have at our faculty, and usually we do advertise in our website or web page. And also you could email us so that our units, extension unit, will respond to any question or any request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rashiko. Samantha, can you reply to some of the questions? They are addressed to you in the chat room. They are quite a direct question, like what kind of vegetables they can plant. Can you reply to that?
What kind of?
Okay. I always thought that terrariums are made from glass, but I noticed you had plastic containers. You want to tell them?
Yeah, okay. This plastic container, this supplier has given us an international certification that this is a food grade box. Yeah, of course, we would love to do on glass, but it's for transportation and mobilization and kids at home, we don't encourage,
Okay.
and it's very difficult to transport. And then, of course, if you want to last forever, of course, our dream is to have acrylic boxes, which is great, but it's expensive. So as you say, anything you do is an input cost. What we want is a healthy vegetables. What we want is a vegetable that is packed with trace minerals, because this is what our body needs. So our body needs a decent protein and also the micronutrients and whatnot for our immune health. Yeah. So we also have a 108-year-old university that's helping us, which is Central Luzon State University of the Philippines. Because of my social work over 2 decades there, after my accident, the Department of Foreign Affairs through the Presidential Office asked me how they can help me back. So I said I want a university collaboration. So CLSU is a 108-year-old agriculture university. All right. So so we will collaborate with them, that their third-year student can come and help us do the thesis here. All right. I'm bringing this to academic journal. Yeah.
Another one is what kind of vegetable can be grown?
Okay. Now we have. Of course, we want to grow the diversity of our indigenous ulam, as we know that all our ulam are so precious. Okay, we don't want to grow that is a commercial one. The soy farmers are growing, as I say, we don't want to disturb their cari makan. Okay, so this one is for our own consumption. And if nobody outside there who is OKU consuming this, I have a letter now written by OKU Central to us, PWD. OKU Central, the founder is none other than YB Senator Dato' Ras Adibah. Okay, and she has written to us asking us if we can help to feed 19,000 OKUs in her NGO. 19,000. So I have pledged 1,000 of our terrarium and also 1,000 of our organic fish for a start. Yeah, so hopefully we can drive this initiative from 19,000 to 90,000. Okay, because we have 4.8 million OKU in the country. So they can come out to receive this Love Gift Box, and this Love Gift Box will be adopted by organization, Rotary and esteemed organization that to help us do the humanitarian and also the environmental by having this box as a carbon farming initiative for an awareness that soil health is our human health. All of us have to take care of it, of our soil, you know. Yeah, so that we can have a better planet for the next generation. Okay, we have Brazilian spinach. We have red watercress that we have acclimatized. Red watercress with America have a study that it is 100% superfood. And we have sayo manis. We have sayo manis. And then now we have a combination of herbs, okay, Mexican herb like oregano, you know, and also various type of herbs. And we are just now R&D coming out chakor. We are planting chakor into the box, you know. So all these are our long lost ulam, all right, that we want to bring it back, you know, bring this food literacy back to household level. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Billy. Okay, any questions from the floor from all of you, please? Okay, if there's no question, I would like to ask Prof. Syukur, what is our kind of model that we can refer to? Is it Israel, or is it Holland, or is it US, or is it in Thailand?
You mean for the urban farming models?
Yeah, Billy's model is unique, so it's very much customized to OKU, which is good. And I think he has a lot in his hand to do, Malaysia as well for the world. But with regards to urban farming at large, right? Which country do we refer to? You know, when it comes to the best practice or
okay, with regards of urban farming, well, there are quite number of options that we can use for high-tech farming. Of course, we could use Holland, even though not really suited to our climate, because they will use a lot of energy. But we can improvise to use solar energy instead, because we have a plenty of sunlight here in our country. And then our researcher also has come up with new solar panels that can maybe more efficient in terms of the absorption of the energy from the solar, from the sunlight, and then to keep it, to save it. And that is one aspect that is for the modern kind of technique. And we also have what we call a plant factory. And I think there is a standard of plant factory is ongoing in terms of their implementation by CIRIM. CIRIM is come up with the procedure or SOP for plant factory. So I think they will it's already presented for the town hall, and I'm one of the committee in that group. So we hope that with that, I think we could use that SOP or that protocols to use it in our country. And for the other the use of fertigation, I think has been used for many years, many people's. The use of pot, the use of any recycle containers, boxes, and so on and so forth. Actually, many countries have used this, so we can follow whatever that they use. So I think in Malaysia itself, there are many people already use this So I think what we need actually to promote to more people, especially in the urban area, and then to guide them, we need to have a quite good extension group. UPM alone is not enough. DOA also doing their job. MARDI also, I think, but we need to have more agencies to get involved. Even the local council, local authority, they actually can encourage and promote this to our people in urban area, so that we could reduce in terms of the vacant land that untouched, that actually you know a lot of smart someone now, you can see that is good if you could encourage people to use it. In our area here in Bangi, around section 15, we are, I think, I'm quite amazed actually. There's a quite big vacant land now, is full of vegetable, full of fruit trees. So, and they keep it clean. That is good. It's very nice now. So I think we can use actually our own model actually, because we are in tropical climate. We receive rain, and we can collect our rain. We can harvest our rain easily, and we have plenty of sunrise. And another thing is quite a number of people, they are use organic farming. Instead of use a chemical, they use organic type of farming, where they use kitchen waste and transform it into compost. Even they cut the grass, keep it mixed with chicken dung or kitchen waste, and then become a good fertilizer for their vegetables. You don't have to buy chemicals fertilizer for that. Is that I answer the question?
Yeah. Okay. It sounds workable. Yeah. I would like to ask you. What are the biggest challenge? Is it technology? In the case of Dr. Billy, yeah, it is in a box, you know, but the science behind it is not that simple, right? And to convince people, you know, there's nothing wrong with soilless method. It requires science, you know, and for ordinary folks who doesn't have much science, might be difficult to impress with them. But it takes time to educate the public. So what do you think, Prashiko, the major challenges of implementing this vertical farming? Because I think our major concern are the poor, and the poor flat dwellers, you know. And you have listed down, they are, you know, husband and wife is working and not enough income, and then for them to learn about this new technology may take time. So the challenges are big. So what do you think?
Okay, I think for the urban poor, of course, it's quite challenging for us to promote to them, because they are actually, because their time, they have a time constraint. They are working. Sometimes they working from 8 to 5 or 6, and then they do part-time, and it is quite difficult. But they can spare their time in during weekend, or they use some kind of technology that not really high-tech. For example, if they use a fertigation technique, so fertigation technique is very easy to manage, because it's actually automatic kind of activities where, of course, we need some what do you call this, electricity, but very small, not that much, because the pump is quite small, and then it's quite automatic. Even though the Samantha just now mentioned about A and B, the corrosive, and so on and so forth, but I think for the poor, I think maybe we still can promote to them, because this is the easiest way. So when the fertigation unit has been put in place, they don't need to do it every day, or they don't have to do it every day. Once a week maybe good enough, or maybe we just see whether it's running or not. So then you don't have to do a weeding or something like that. So because it's run by itself. So I think it's much easier. Or maybe they also can have a small unit of hydroponic system. Maybe in front of their what do you call this, their flat. So small unit, at least they can have some maybe herbs, ulam, pak choy, and so on and so forth. But that's easy to grow. So I think maybe that is one way actually for us to promote to them and to help them at least to reduce their food bills.
Yeah, okay. Right, guys, it's already 4:15. There's one participant who would like your number, Proshiko. Is it okay?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Can I, Zaru, can you give it to him? She wants Proshiko's number. All right. Anyone with a burning question here? I will allow one or two.
Yes, I'd like to ask Dr. Billy Tang.
Josephine, quickly here.
Thank you to Dato' Fatima and Dato' Tajuddin for a very interesting session. But now my question is, it looks like we can grow some temperate herbs in your terrariums in Malaysia. Would that be possible?
Yes. We have to acclimatize them.
Yeah.
We have a lot of I got a lot of Malaysian friends since my accident. The only thing that, you know, in farming, it is biological, as you can see. We don't want to inherit equipments and then you don't have a basic, because we don't have our seed bank. All right. Most of our seeds are imported, all right, from our neighboring countries and packed under various brands, and you pick it up from the supermarket. And we normally blame ourselves, got no green hands, because the germination rate is low. So it is no plug and play, you know. So that's why all these equipments you buy from Lazada, even though it's cheap, at the end of the day, you put it in the storeroom because you blame yourself of not having green hands. So this terrarium box is to tell, I'm breaking the myth that everyone, all right, you don't have to be a farmer, just understand the science behind. I want to convert you, you know, that one day you want to be a farmer, you know. So this is where you see the phenomenon of size of the nitrogen cycle, how you balance the bacteria and the fungi and the microorganism. Okay, when you have the box longer because you harvest the leaves and you eat, okay, and the roots are there. Okay, the roots are all the aggregates, you know, bringing back through photosynthesis, you know, converting the carbohydrate to sugar, you know, and go into the aggregates, and then the whole science behind bringing back the trace minerals to your veggie. So when you taste your veggie in this box and you taste the same veggie when you grow outside, it's totally different, all right? Because we bring back the texture, we bring back the flavor, and especially urban farming, suddenly you have a truck spraying diesel, the Nyamo Edis, you know, diesel, you know, they're spraying, you know, openly, and then it all will contaminate your soil. You know, that's why when you go to Korea, Japan, Taiwan, all of them are going to greenhouse farming. All right, because of the pest concern. Every area, every season, especially Malaysia, summer 365 days has a different pest. Okay, when your soil is not balanced, okay, your plants will not be healthy. You are susceptible to a lot of diseases. All right, that's why this is why we lost 2 decades of agriculture because of COVID. Everybody wants to be a farmer now. You know, it's impossible. It's impossible. So we break it down to a very simple thing. If my OKU can benefit eating out of this box for a year, and they have saved so much from organic pricing, you know, from this box, this is where we are advocating. You know, we have to be very patient. And then it only takes, now I don't have to speak about the box. People are already eating more than 20 months out of this box, you know, and our rehab physician is 14 months. And when they get into trouble with the box, I don't ask them to bring here. I will teach them step by step to restore back their own box. All right. We have so many proof of concept. The box is all nearly died because their children overwater it. They drown the veggie, you know, and because the soil is alive. All right. Once you clean up all the dead leaves and everything, the soil is alive. And this composting of this soil is 3 years. 3 years. And when you talk about kitchen composting, there are residues because you are taking those things that have residue of antibiotic or hormone or whatever. So, I mean, are we sure that how long this residue will disappear from our composting, right? You know, so very important is what base material are we using for the composting? All right, that's another area. So it's not inheriting an equipment, plug and play, put your seed there, it will grow. It will not happen as what you anticipate.
Okay.
Okay. Very
you
good.
so much.
Good.
Can we
Good.
sort of book you to give us a workshop? We have a Taman Kebun in SS25 PJ. I'm just
Sure. It's best that you reach out to us. We set a date, you come and visit us because everything is here.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we are in USJ too.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see various technology that we are making it, you know, easy to demonstrate to people that let them eat healthy. We are into what we call, just now you touched the poor. Okay, may I bring this out now? We are in the it's Maslow hierarchy of needs. All right, people who are T20 suddenly lose their job. They have house loan, car loan, children, and it's a Maslow hierarchy of needs. Feed them healthy first. Okay, our box is only 150 ringgit. All right, but we are driving a circular economy by bending the linear economic curve because of the COVID that have halted the supply chain. Okay, all the economy degree can throw out the window already if you cannot bend the linear economy into a circular economy. So we are offering ourselves as a social enterprise to bend this circular economy, okay, use the rich money to feed the poor, and the money is not going out. And agriculture is always related to foreign workers. All right?
Okay, Billy, so there's so many problems in agriculture. Right. So, all right, guys. I wish we have more time to deliberate those issues. All right. I think we have answered, I think, about 80% of the questions. We have shared. Sorry, Prof. Shuko and Dr. Billy, they wanted your numbers, so I
Okay,
replied.
no problem.
Yeah. All right. They even wanted to have a tour to our UPM, which is good.
Okay.
So I asked them to write to Prof. Shuko, and we are more than happy to get you guys visit our campus.
Okay.
And of course, Billy too, you and your magic boxes. I think one day I must buy one of your magic boxes.
Good.
Very good, Billy. All right, guys, there's so much to say. Thank you so much, every one of you. I can see young people there. Please, as Billy said, the future is in your hands, right? We need circular economy. We need to recycle whatever we have. We need to maintain our climate situation, our resources, and so on. So the onus is on yours. We are sorry that our generation has, we have been very extractive rather than replenishing it. So it's our turn now to slowly replenish it for your own sake, for a better future, for our grandchildren and for the young generation. And my ex-boss is here. Prof. Aini, you have anything to say? Thank you for your presence.
Thank you, Ratin.
Thank you, Ratin. My good friend here, Dr. Zana Yusof, Cita Julian Ismail, Dr. Elise, and everyone else. Thank you so much all. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. It has been very fruitful, and I hope it does give us a viewpoint about urban farming, community farming for the betterment of the poor, and as well as the community, as well as nutrition security. Thank you so much.